So today we're going to be taking this and applying it to this, and I'm going to show you how to create it, how to cut it, which the machine does really, and then I'm going to show you how to apply it to the nice glass. To make this project you will need a Cricut machine, Shimmer vinyl, and we already have a small piece cut out, and then holographic vinyl and transfer tape. We're using all Cricut materials today. You'll also need Cricut Design Space, which I use on a PC. So here we are in Design Space. It's a very simple project. We'll start with a shape, which will be a circle, and that needs to fit in a 2x2 square, and that's allowing a tiny bit of room in either direction for the glass because we've measured it. Then we're going to duplicate that and move it over, and our first circle here is done. We're going to leave it just as it is, and our second circle we're going to add our text to. So we zoom in a little bit and make it a little easier. So for our text we're going to type Adrian's, and we're going to find a font we like. And I quite like cutting up short stack. It's quite cute. And we're going to shrink that down, and then we're going to go into more, and we're going to curve this one. We'll curve it that way. We'll move our circle down because that's when we're working in, and that looks a little leaning to the right, so we're going to just move it a tiny bit. That's going to go into the top of our logo, and we'll shrink it down some more, and we're going to pay attention to our size. So at the minute it says 21.59, we'll just change that to 21.50. So we want all of our letters to be the same size. Once that's done, we're going to highlight all of that and click on Slice. Then we can move our circle out of the way and delete the typing. Then we're going to click Text again and type in our second word. And we're going to shrink that down. Just make sure it's centered, maybe a bit in there. There you go. And then we're going to highlight it all, and we're going to click Slice. Remove our circle out of the way and delete the typing. Move our circle back up, and then for the last word we'll click Text again. Juice, and we're going to give that slight curve by clicking more. We want it to go the other way this time, so go like that, and shrink it down. And take a look at that. We're going to highlight it all, click Slice, move our circle out of the way, delete our writing, and we are done. So we're going to click Make It. You can see it has them both here. We're ignoring the colors because we are doing this all in one go, and I'm going to show you how to do that in the mat in a second. But first we're going to line up our two pieces. So the first one is fitting in a 3x3 square, and the second one is fitting in a 3x3 square. So if we leave that one there and make sure that this one is between 3 and 6, we can put out two different pieces of card and line them up and make sure that it cuts in the same place. So I click Continue, and we'll power on our device. And I'll meet you on the mat. So here we are on our mat. We have our holographic and our shimmer. Our shimmer needs to go from the line number 3. So we're going to put that in there. And actually I think what we'll do is we'll move it over to 4. And I'll make sure to change that on the design space just before we print. And then we need our shimmer. It's on holographic. And we're going to need that to fit in this space. We can go between 1 and 3. And there. So I'm going to give it a quick snip there. And we're going to give it a quick snip here. Okay, so let's take that off the mat because it's a bit sticky. And I think we'll cut this way first because that will get us down the roll. Just where we were there. To there. And then I cut there, so we'll go in the middle to there. And then we're going to stick that down on our mat, right between the 1 and 3, and push it down. There we go. So, now that our mat's all set, we'll check. We have it between 1 and 3, and this one's between 4 and 8, but we only needed it between 4 and 6, but that's fine. So we moved this one over a little bit, so we want to go into our design space and just bring that over into the 4. And then we're going to click power on our machine and open her up. And we'll come back here and we're going to click on continue. Wait for it to load up. And our base material is set to vinyl on the machine. So we'll come back here and we're ready to load the mat. So mat goes in and we press load and then go ahead and press cut it. Now, what I like to do at this stage, because these are sort of a bit thicker, without unloading it, I'm going to go ahead and cut it one more time. We're going to let it get on with that, and I'll see you at the next step. So that's done cutting. We're going to hit our unload mat. We can go ahead and close this up because we're done for the moment. And we're going to go ahead and weed these. We'll start with our circle. I'll leave it on the mat because they both rolled up and folded a bit as we were laying them out. So if we do this, it will give us a little bit of help keeping them nice and level. So this is our first circle. And then we have this one. We're wasting a lot of vinyl there, which we could use. So we're going to lay that down real quick. We're going to cut it. To save us some space. So I'm thinking right at the 7. And then where were we on this side? We'll see. Take that off. can use that for another day. We're going to pop that back down on our mat. Go ahead and take that bit off. At this stage it will help to look at our design. Adrian's Giggle Juice, because we need to get all of those little bits out. So I've decided with this black circle, it's really difficult to see where we're reading. So what we're going to do is reverse read it. We've got our transfer tape to the right size. We're going to pop that down in there. I'll go ahead and take everything off of the mat now. We can move our mat. And then we're going to go ahead and remove the transfer vinyl backing. And to do that, we're going to bring it just to the start of our right circle, and then while pushing down, keeping it as close as we can. Actually, it's going to pull up some of those letters anyway. Although some of those pieces may have been needed, like the dots there for the giggle, but we can get those back out in a second. So, to make sure everything's laying down nice and neat. And we can go. Just to make this a bit easier on ourselves, we're going to bring our mat back and stick this down to that. So it's not all moving around. So now I need to move these little bits over into the G's and into the B there. Sorry, the G. And we're going to put this back down on our mat. We're going to release this from our mat. We're going to layer this onto this one. Give it a good rub. We'll take this off of our mat. We're going to peel that off of there, which should be a nice easy one. Dropped in. And then we'll get our wine glass. Now our wine glass we have cleaned with rubbing alcohol to make sure there's no oils on the area that we're designing on. We're going to line it up nice and neat. And on these curved surfaces actually, it helps if just along your plastic put some score marks in. That just means you'll get it down a lot better. It may get a little difficult to remove, but it means it will lay nice and neat on the curved edges. And then put that on. Give it a good rub. You see how it's curving up around there? Those cuts at least make it so that you can push it around without messing it up. And then when removing this, you've actually got quite a bit of luxury because it doesn't stick that great. go. And we're done. Adrian's Giggle Juice.